Hey everyone! So, readers, today we've spent time looking at similarities and differences in our text themes. Today we're going to add on to that. We're going to be noticing when two texts deal with the same themes but differ in their time and place, or the setting of the story is different. Because it takes a really strong reader to notice when two stories have very different settings but have the same theme. So, first, today, I'm going to talk about two books that I've read with students in the past. Al Capone Does My Shirts and Shiloh. So, quick book recommendation. Adrienne was reading Shiloh and she talked about it in her last video, so I thought, what a great book recommendation to use for this lesson and for future reading. So those are the two books that we're going to look at today. So when I look closely at these two texts, I picked them because they both had the same lesson or theme of the story. The theme of the story is that it's important to be honest, especially with your family, because when you are not honest, there are a lot of negative consequences. And both texts, again, have that same theme. But what's the most interesting about these stories is the big difference that I found in the time and place of these stories. So Al Capone Does My Shirts takes place, the setting is in 1935. The main character, Moose, lives with his family on Alcatraz Island, which is a prison for the worst criminals in the world. And this prison is near San Francisco, California, like it's off the coast of San Francisco. And Shiloh, the other book we're comparing, takes place in the 1960s. The main character, Marty, lives on a farm with his family in West Virginia. And so as you can see, we've got these two stories that have very different settings, but the same theme of honesty runs throughout them. So this can teach us that stories might have different settings and time and place, but they're still asking us to think about the same lessons or themes, which lets us know as readers that these themes are important and they last throughout time. So clearly it's important for us to know these themes and then apply it in our own life. So this is something that I want you to look out for while you're reading today. You're going to look at the reading worksheet that I made for you, and there's a T-chart, and notice in the T-chart I showed you how I recorded my thinking for Shiloh and Al Capone Does My Shirts. For your turn, you're going to be doing it with the two stories, The Coal Thief and The Promise. The links are below, and you can click on them and rewatch The Promise and then watch The Coal Thief. And while you're watching, I want you to think, what's the lesson that they share, and how are the settings different? I have a little hint or a suggestion. If you're having a hard time figuring out the setting of The Coal Thief, you can read below the video, and there's a description of the setting of the story on the website that I provided to you guys. So that's your hint. And then a second hint, if you're really struggling with the setting of The Promise or The Coal Thief, just give me a description of where it's taking place. For example, if it takes place near a beach, you could just write the setting is on a beach, or the setting is in the mountains, if that's where the story takes place. So I know that you guys can do it. I'm excited to see all of your great thinking, and happy reading. I hope you guys like the stories. Bye.